A very good evening to you. I'm Sophia Cambridge with this Sunday, June 10th edition of the CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, a committee is being established to investigate what's being called questionable action and decisions by the previous Democratic Labour Party administration. Attorney General Dale Marshall says for too long there's been a perception that the political class in Barbados can do as they wish without facing criminal charges, but this must stop. While making it clear that he is not engaging in a witch hunt, Mr. Marshall says people who hold high office must be held accountable.
I'm selecting the people. Some of them are going to be some of the finest legal minds from within the region, but not in Barbados, because I don't want a taint to be perceived that this body is a B and that body is a D. But also I recognize that we have brilliant legal minds and brilliant forensic minds in Barbados. So I'm putting them together. You know, people in Sudan have a saying, hurry bird, don't build good nests. This is important, it's vital. It's not about a witch hunt, it's about purging Barbados and the Barbadian landscape of the wrongdoing so that we can go forward in a way that can help us to grow. And therefore it will take a few weeks to get these people together. A lot of what we're going to be doing over the next few weeks will also be evidence gathering and trying to see where individuals have fallen short. If they've not fallen short, fine. But if they've fallen short of the mark, we need to be able to say, you had the sacred trust of Barbadians in your hand and you've abused it, and therefore you have to face the law courts.
The Attorney General, who is also Member of Parliament for St. Joseph, was speaking to CBC News at the end of his victory motorcade to celebrate his election to represent the people of that constituency for a fourth term. Mr. Marshall went on to talk about some of the wrongdoings by the previous administration, which have already been discovered.
I've been shocked at the fact that a government could behave in such a selfish way, in such a way as to disregard proper standards and propriety. I've been shocked at the number of contracts that they have renewed in days before elections. I've been shocked at the kind of the decision making that they've engaged in. But I'm not surprised, because from the time we were working on the Public Accounts Committee, we were seeing these kinds of things 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Barbadians can expect to pay more on their electricity bills this month. The Barbados Light and Power Company Limited says it's due to an increase in the fuel clause adjustment by 7 cents this month. It could see householders paying an average of about $20 more. Manager of Communications and Government Relations at the Barbados Light and Power Company, Jackie Marshall-Clark, further explains the reason for the increase.
As you're aware, the monthly fuel clause adjustment is impacted by 1, international oil prices, and over the last 12 months, the price of oil has risen by over 50%. And 2, the fuels used by us. And regarding our fuel use, we are presently undertaking maintenance on some of our low-cost heavy fuel oil generators, resulting in greater use of the gas turbines. And this is with more expensive diesel and avjet fuels. And this maintenance is necessary to avoid breakdown and failure, and certainly to maintain reliability for you as customers.
Mrs. Marshall-Clark says Barbados Light and Power is hoping that the fuel clause adjustment will be reduced soon, and they're hoping to implement several measures, including revisiting the fuel hedging application, which was unsuccessful last year. In other news, consumers will be paying more for gasoline, diesel and kerosene oil as of midnight tonight. The retail price of gasoline will go up by 20 cents, moving from $3.40 per litre to $3.60. Diesel will now cost $2.80 per litre, up from $2.61, an increase of 19 cents. Kerosene will cost 9 cents more, retailing at $1.55 per litre, up from $1.46 per litre. Liquefied petroleum gas prices will also go up. The 100-pound cylinder will now cost $162.81, up from $162.39, an increase of 42 cents, while the price of the 25-pound cylinder will move up 10 cents from $45.70 to $45.80. The 22-pound cylinder will now cost 9 cents more, moving from $40.47 to $40.38. And the 20-pound cylinder will retail at $36.79, up from $36.71. That's an increase of 8 cents. The adjustments, as you know, in the retail prices of these products is in keeping with government's policy to allow the retail oil prices to be reflective of those on the international market. Well, we'll take a pause here now, but we'll have more news just after the break. Education Minister Santia Bradshaw has expressed concern about the readiness of some of the island schools to be utilized as disaster emergency shelters. Ms. Bradshaw's comments came during a recent launch event for a satellite emergency operations center in St. Michael South East. She says over the past 2 weeks, ministry officials have been assessing the state of readiness of some of the island schools should they need to be utilized as disaster emergency shelters.
In particular, the issue of water tanks is something that has been plaguing our government. Certainly in the last week and a half, I've had to close several schools because the water tanks, the storage of the water tanks has been a problem. And that is something that is high on the agenda for the ministry, because while there is disruption of the school program on a daily basis, we also recognize that we have to get this particular challenge correct if we are to prepare ourselves for what is to come in this hurricane season.
Further afield now, and last Friday, the St. Lucia government and the World Bank officially launched the Open Data Initiative. It ensures that anyone can access, use and share government data.
Data.govt.lc is an online library whereby the government publishes all of its data in the public domain in one location. St. Lucia participated in an Open Data Readiness Assessment World Bank Program of Assistance in 2014, which concluded that the island had the pre-existing structure to support an open data initiative. Data in the public domain is usually available upon request, making it difficult and costly for external agencies to access. The program encourages the proactive release of data with an international standard of open by default.
The weekend sports package is up next. Please stay with us.